Hey guys, welcome to another diversion. I just got back from a mountain bike ride. Ian and I just got back, and it was some strenuous stuff. It's funny how you don't really think about things in terms of where you're going with your health in years or whatever. But I mean, if you do a lot of this crafting stuff and a lot of the gaming stuff, it really doesn't do much for your health. So it's I'm not where I was with the mountain biking about 3 years ago. Not at all. So I was a little disappointed. Of course, the 16-year-old was way ahead of Grandpa. But it was fun. We did have a good time, but it really was surprising. 3 years ago, I was shredding. Now I feel like I've been shred, something like that. So, but anyway, so yeah, it's something to be said for trying to stay healthy while you spend a lot of time with TTRPGs and running a channel and doing all these sedentary activities, crafting for your TTRPGs and all that kind of stuff. I think it's good psychologically. So yeah, it is healthy, right? But as far as your physical health, not so much. So um, gonna have to start getting a little more serious, I think, about my biking and the hiking and all that stuff that I enjoy. It's hard to find the time. That's a worthy topic. That's a good way to start this one, I think. That try to fit in at least what 15, 20 minutes of exercise every day if you can. You know, I think that's as sedentary as we crafters and tabletop gamers are. I think that's a really good idea to try to do it, even if it's just a walking program or something like that. We play a lot of tennis. Both my sons are very good at tennis, and I try to I try to hang in with them on the tennis court. I'm not very good at tennis, um, but I like to play. It's a great sport. It's a great game. I love it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to spend time with family and friends. And the carpenter bees. I'm still on vacation, in case you can't tell. Hear the birds and the bees. Birds and the bees and the flowers. Here you go. Something my sister did. Isn't this pretty? It's actually been here a couple of days, but beautiful little arrangement she did with a Coke bottle and some rocks to keep the wind from knocking it over. Isn't that beautiful? Anyway, she's crafty too, by the way. Evidently, it runs in the family. The carpenter bees are all over me. I hear they don't sting. I actually Googled it. They supposedly don't sting, I guess, unless you handle them. I'm not handling them, that's for sure. I'm not going to handle them. Uh, but yeah, they will get real close. So if I get stung, I probably won't edit that out. I'll just let you guys see me get stung by a bee because it might be kind of funny for you guys, I guess. Not too funny for me. But yeah, they will get on top of you. Evidently, love is in the air. There's no doubt. Love is literally in the air. Yeah, they pair up and and they go about and do their business, and then they zoom back around again. Hey, it's a party. It's a party at the cabin, having a great time. We're on vacation. Woohoo! Not quite used to being surrounded by bees while I do a video, right? It's kind of weird. Um, maybe this should be called the distraction instead of the diversion. So Dee Dee's distraction. Love tennis. Love mountain biking. Hiking is good stuff too. Um, and I have a lot of running. I run sometimes too. We walk the dogs more than anything, probably that and biking. But when I say biking, I mean like cruising along the streets of our neighborhoods and community and so forth. Uh, which, as I mentioned in the previous diversion, is a great way to pick up to score some good trash for your trash to treasure projects, right? That's one reason why I'm so lucky with the scores, with the trash to treasure scores, because I'm always biking the community that I live in, and so it's real easy just to pick up some stuff. And if it's too big to pick up, I go get the speaking of pickup, I go get the pickup truck, and I go back, and they're more than happy to let me have it. They don't want it. So anyway, real good idea. Kill two birds with one stone, right? Get out, get some exercise, and while you're out there, check out, check out the remains, right? you know, check out the rubbish piles, see if there's some loot. But anyway, like I said, we play a lot of tennis, right? So I have a lot of tennis ball containers, right? So they make handy little containers for all sorts of stuff. I use them for my miniatures. I use them for all sorts of gaming accessories and so forth. And it's really good because, you know, they're clear plastic, and got a nice, you know, pretty much airtight seal on these tops. So you don't have to worry about, you know, this is there's a lot of rocks in there. That's a lot of weight. Holds it just fine. So anyway, some gray rocks. Obviously, I'm planning on using these for terrain. I probably won't even paint these. I've already washed them and cleaned them up real good. So got some gray, some like speckled gray. I don't know if you guys can see this really well in the container here. And then some white. Maybe I'll break out a couple. Some of these white ones are really very kind of cool, real pretty. It looks like, I don't know, I'm an idiot when it comes to geology, so I'm not sure when it comes to a lot of things. I'm not sure what that is. I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, but it's all white, so maybe a quartz, maybe, I don't know, something like that. Pretty cool. Really cool, I would think, for like a winter wonderland, a wintry scene, right? Wintry scene. Some sort of Arctic scene, an Arctic tile set. Maybe if you guys can see it better with me in front of it instead of all that sunlight, that horrible, horrible sunlight. I don't know if you guys can see this one. It's half gray rock and half white rock, like literally. So that's pretty cool. That's the only one that I've found like that. Actually, Gabe found that one. So my sons get into it too. They'll find rocks for me. Hey, Dad, check this out. Kind of like searching for seashells on the seashore, right? How does that saying go? Sandy searches for seashells on the seashore. Say that 15 times fast. So yeah, we do some rock hunting while we're up here. Why not? You know, they're free, and just taking a handful like that, I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think any of these rocks are indigenous, right, to this area. I think that all of these have been brought in. So yeah, so it would be neat to take maybe one or two that are indigenous, but these are really pretty and they're really cool. So I'm happy with them, and I'm not about to break out a pickaxe or anything like that, right? That really would be bad. I don't think that's a good idea. That probably would encourage erosion, right? We don't want to do things like that. Oh, and speaking of loot, some more show and tell here. So I figured I've been a good boy. I went on my bike ride for the day. I got my exercise. It was about an hour worth of pedaling. The downhill, that downhill was fun. This is my reward for being a good boy and doing my mountain biking for the day. And the carpenter bees are zooming all over the place. So yeah, went to McDonald's. Yeah, and I know what you're thinking. You terrible person. You're eating junk food. That's what you're doing. That's your reward. No. I'm getting Smurf houses. Oh, yeah. I got 5 of these bad boys. This is how you treat yourself when you're a geeky TTRPGer, right? This is what we do. We don't buy greasy hamburgers, although I love them, and greasy french fries. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. No. We buy the toys that children play with, and we play with them in secret in little closets, don't we? No, we don't. Okay. We play with them on the table with family and friends, and make a nice little village out of little Smurf houses that can be converted, I think, rather easily into huts or cottages, right? So, unboxing of sorts here, unbagging. Some sort of video game thing here. If the kids like the show or love Smurfs or whatever, I think Smurfs are cool. Grew up watching the Smurfs cartoon, right? Good stuff. But don't think I'll be playing the video game. I'll let my kids, you know, if they want to play it, fine, whatever, as long as it doesn't cost too much. Okay, plastic bag here. Take the little. It's a cute little cottage. It's really cute. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have seen these. If you guys don't know about these, you need to get out from underneath the crafting rock you're hiding under and start paying a little more attention, because these are the hottest commodity going right now in crafting, TTRPG crafting. So lots of people are getting these, and I struggled a little bit. The lady said $2. I think that's kind of high just for the toy itself. Of course, and you have It's not just a toy, right? You get little Smurf dudes too, right? Get little Smurfs, cute little Smurf miniatures. Okay. You know, I didn't realize. Look at the little beetle. That's so cute. Look, I might actually could use that in some of my scatter terrain. Just as kind of like a little joke, I think. A little beetle on a mushroom. Look at that. Or maybe even turn that in, paint that up. Maybe not. And just use it as some sort of an encounter, right? And little, is this Brainy Smurf? Glasses on, got a book. That's perfect for me. Nerd Smurf. We'll call him Nerd Smurf. That's me right there. So good stuff there. I don't even know if I'm gonna open those yet, but you know, they're cute. They're I'd say, you know, the artwork is way off, right? But you know, it might be something cute to add for giggles and so forth, and I'm sure Mom, you know, whenever she games with us, she would love seeing some of this. So it might be one of those things where I add some stuff to the game to kind of encourage some folks who are casual gamers into, you know, playing a little more seriously. So it might be one of those ways to win them over. Say, oh, look, it's cute. Yeah, all this stuff is cute. And before they know it, oh, it's Tiamat, you're about to die. Anyway, the bottom, I don't know if I like the bottom quite so much. Obviously, we can paint this up. It screams, you know, it's screaming right now. Primer, please. You know, prime coat, please. This is like some sort of thing. I'm not interested in this at all. It goes in the middle. Really cheapy stuff here. And I guess for starters, I could just leave it, and you know, if I don't want to do any painting or whatever, just leave it in there and say, oh, look, it's a little cottage, look at the little well, blah, blah, blah. Again, the artwork is very comical, very cartoony, and obviously this isn't painted. So yeah, that's not really working for what I'd rather just have it empty, and as soon as I can, right, get some paint on this. I'm thinking prime coat the top. Maybe some maybe darker brown or lighter brown, whatever, a little bit of variant here for the wood over the little window here. Maybe a little bit on the sides, maybe some white or something on the wood on the sides. I don't know if I want to get that detailed. Honestly, I don't. You know, you guys know I don't really enjoy painting. It takes a lot of time, but I might. You know, it might be worth it. You know, it's a cute little cottage, and then of course the flowers here. Maybe paint those yellow or something. Thinking I can just leave this brown, right? Has a texture to it. Very mushroomy. I don't know if that's a word, but very mushroomy. Don't really like the mushroomy. But in a way I do, right? And it could work. It could totally work. Got a little brick pattern going on here. Whoops. A little brick pattern going on here with the chimney. So I paint that red or gray. Yeah. And either just leave this brown and just fill in with your imagination. Or I could even put a little cardstock, like some cardstock shingles on it, right? So all sorts of stuff you could do with this. Not sure it's worth $2, but you know, I guess it is with the miniatures, and it's a cute little hut, and it is, there's no door to speak of, so you'd have to paint. It's pretty funny. You'd have to paint a door, which I guess the door's on the, yeah, the door's on the paper, I guess. It just fell off. So anyway, yeah, wood there. I would just prime coat this, maybe white at the bottom. Paint that brown for the wood. Or you can use Sharpies, right? The only thing with Sharpies on this, especially this plastic, you want to prime coat first so the Sharpie has something to hold on to. I don't think you can sand all this, right? But I'm not sure you'd want to do all that when you could just prime coat it and the Sharpie could hang on to the prime coat. So yeah, but I'm not sure I'd want to do Sharpies. I don't know. I might do Sharpies at first just to see if I can get away with it, because I'd much rather deal with Sharpies than paints. But still, first I've got to prime coat it. So because I really don't want to scratch that. I don't want to scratch it up, even tiny scratches. I don't know. I just really don't want to do that. So yeah, prime coat and then either paints or Sharpies, one or the other, right? Anyway, it's cool. It's you know, if I would have thought about it, I would have some miniatures here, but my miniatures are usually about 1.5 inches, so it's the scale. It's the proper scale. So you know, it's small, but you know, cottages are supposed to be small, right? So yeah, I mean, you could have like a little, can't have much in there. If you want to make it playable, you know, real easy to do. Top pops off, and there you go. You got maybe enough room for a bed, maybe a chair, maybe a little table. That's pretty much it, right? You don't really have a lot of room to work with there. Or just, you know, make small scale, you know, smaller than usual scale stuff, right? Like a tiny bed, you know, and whatever. So, or just, you know, don't put anything in it. And instead of using that, what I'm thinking about doing, instead of using that, just lift the whole thing and set a piece down that's a little bit bigger. It gives you a little more playability, right? If you want to make them playable. I mean, they don't have to be playable, right? Lots of buildings and TTRPGs are not playable at all. So anyway, lots of different options, but I do like the fact that the top comes off. Some folks are saying, hey, you know, what? I'm not going to use the bottom, but you know, if I'm going to craft this bottom, I do like the tops more than anything. The tops are awesome, but I'm thinking it fits so well on that bottom. I'll probably use the bottom too, and either just draw or paint a door, right? I don't really like the paper inside. That doesn't look very good. So either draw or paint a door, and then you got a little window, and it's very, very cottagey. It is a cottage, you know, some cottage cheese there. A little bit cheesy, but I like it. You know, the cheese is good. So, thumbs up on this. I think it's worth $2. I got 5 of them because you know, I obviously have a problem, but it'll make a nice little village, right? So you can't really do a village. I guess you could get away with like 3 for a village, right? You could, and then have some other smaller cottages that you crafted yourself. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of them all kind of having that same look, which they will look almost identical. These are identical out there. All these have red roofs, and yeah, it looks like they're all the same. So I might have to, if I want different miniatures or whatever, I'll have to make another purchase. I probably shouldn't have got 5 all at the same time. Probably should have got 3 and then 3 later maybe. So just a, you know, a hint, you know, might not want to get them all at the same time if you want different miniatures. So my assumption is they get certain ones in at a certain time or whatever, and maybe you have to go back for week, you know, week 3 they have this one, week 4 they have a different one and different miniatures. Probably I think that's how it works. So just keep that in mind. I really wasn't concerned with that because I didn't think I'd use the miniatures, and I typically won't use these miniatures, but they are cute. You know, maybe give them to my niece or something. You know, I don't know. But the houses, you know, and all the houses basically look the same. The only difference with the huts are the color of the plastic roofs, or I guess that's like it's like a hard plastic. And that's not a big deal because we're going to prime coat these anyway, right? So if you do want to keep the colors, you know, the original McDonald's, whatever plastic color, then you will want to go probably at different times. But if you're getting them and you're going to prime coat them, then it doesn't really matter, right? They can all be the same. So, and of course, if you're going for miniatures, you'll want to make purchases over maybe a couple weeks or so. So, good stuff there. I'm going to check real quick and just make sure, but it looks like they're all the same miniature and the same red roof. I think some roofs are yellow and some are blue or what. Yeah, see, they all have the purple little. I kind of like those little beetles. It's kind of cool. I mean, it's fun, you know. One thing I like about these is, you know, I'll try it real quick. They should be stackable, right? If you can do stackable, do stackable. It's always good. Should have just popped that open earlier. Stackable is always a good way to go, right? Just pull straight up. There's another beetle. Don't know if you guys can see that too well, but yeah, there you go. Don't really want to open them up just yet because I don't even know if I'll use them. And if I want to give them away to my nieces or something, or my nephew or whatever, I'd rather have them in the bags and hand them to them like that, right? Have their parents. Okay, they're kind of stackable. Yeah. So the chimney goes up in the chimney and the window kind of in the window. Not sure. No, the bottoms. Yeah, that's kind of a minus for me. I was really counting on them being stackable. They're not. They kind of, but not really. So rather than stacking them, I'll probably, the sun's going down a little bit. I'll probably just use them to house miniatures or whatever, and just use them as containers when they're not in use. Right? When I don't have them on the table, I'll just use them to hold various things like miniatures and or gaming accessories and furniture, right? So I could just put like 5 beds in there or something, just cram stuff in there just to hold it, and just put it on display on a shelf somewhere. Because you know, hate to keep saying it, but really, these are cute. They're cute. And most McDonald's, I think they're selling them probably a little bit cheaper. Than I feel like I got gouged a little bit on those. $2 for this thing is kind of high, but yeah, I mean it's worth $2. Tax and everything. I think it was $12 for 10, or sorry, 5 of them. Um, so yeah, kind of pricey, but I think it's worth $10 to have a little village, right? To have a little little cottage village. That's kind of cool, and a little prime coat, and just a little bit of paint, or maybe some markers or something, and they'll look a little bit better, and they'll be ready for the table. And so very little crafting, very little time. That's you pay for convenience. So either you're going to put a lot of time into your cottages and the looks of your villages and so forth, or you're just going to pay a little bit of money and get a really good head start with a good form like that, and then work with paints or Sharpies, and or right. So and or paints and or Sharpies, right? So good stuff there. If you guys can, I would suggest going out and getting a couple. I mean, especially if you have kids and you're okay. We don't do the McDonald's food so much. I don't really the whole health thing, right? So we don't do that food quite so much. But yeah, I guess it's not too bad as long as you don't eat it very often, right? So maybe get the kids a Happy Meal or something, split a hamburger, or whatever. But yeah, a lot of the McDonald's, I believe they're selling them for like $1.69 or something. It's a little bit less. $2 is the highest I've heard, and of course, my luck, that would be the McDonald's I go to. $2 each. I was kind of happy she didn't say $5 each. She's not real pleasant. She was okay. I think people, in the service industry in general, get kind of burned out. You can't blame them, especially fast food, right? That can't be fun. So anyway, I was like, thank you. Gouge me again. Okay, so it's good for what it is. They're worth $2 each. They are. I don't spend a lot of money on the TTRPG. I don't spend much money on the craft, really. I mean, if you consider mountain biking, for example, that hobby takes a lot of money if you're serious about it, right? You got to get a serious bike, and you have to get equipment, and gasoline for the car to go to these different places. I don't get into it quite to that degree, but just keeping up a decent bike, is some money. So if you compare the way I spend money for the craft and the TTRPGs, it's pretty tame compared to some other hobbies I've seen. I know the guys that get into the wargaming, which looks really like the historical wargaming, right? That looks cool to me, and I can totally see me getting into that someday. Um, Especially after I retired. There's that word keeps creeping up. It's kind of creeping me out. Yeah. Once I have more time on my hands, I can totally see getting into that, because I could see getting into more of the miniature painting and that kind of thing, and then of course that leads to the war gaming and all that. I think a little bit, because you start getting into, I want to buy this group of miniatures, I want to buy this troop, I want to buy this, and then before you know it, you're getting into painting all of them, and setting them all out and all that kind of stuff. Kind of like miniature railroad stuff, I guess, in a way. I mean, you're really getting into the look and the detail, and a lot of time invested, a lot of work, and it's more about the craft and more about what's on the table and how things look, and the spread and the scene, than it is about the game. I think to some degree, and that's for guys that are obviously retired, or just have a lot of time on their hands. Um, doing all the stuff at tennis and all this. I don't have that kind of time, so it kind of makes sense why I'm not into that yet. But anyway, I digress. It's a diversion for sure, guys. Um, so yeah, I can imagine one day, probably getting into that. So, hope you guys have got something out of this. Go out if you like the cottages. Go out and get maybe a couple and prime coat them or do whatever you want to with them. Right, obviously, and just have some fun with them. The kids are sure to love them. And like I said, I mean, you can play the interiors. A lot of times we play interiors behind the buildings, right? So I can make an interior twice the size of that cottage and say, okay, here's the interior, here's the bed, and have a lot of stuff inside of there that's playable, and make it a lot more, I don't know, adventurous and not quite so crammed, right? So that the players might actually be encouraged to go into the cottages and maybe meet some, maybe get some side missions from some NPCs and so forth. Or just set them out and just use them as kind of a backdrop to the village, right? So either way, it's all good stuff. So if you would give us a like, if you got anything out of this at all, please give us a like, and if you would please subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching, guys.